Episode 2. Too Slow, Too Curious. Country Road, 7:15. Girls, stop cussing at each other. Leonie and Cassie ignored Miss Gilbert while shouting in the back seat, which smelled like pine air freshener. Leonie's mother kept looking into the rearview mirror at the girls. "You want to fight me over everything? Stop!" Cassie shouted. "I don't even want you to be here," Leonie shouted back. The truck pulled up to the ranch, stripped of the trees that used to surround the main house. Now most of the land is red clay and sand instead of usable soil. Leonie turned as soon as the sight of their house came into view. It all felt unreal still. The boards over the windows, everything that happened in the flood, her father leaving. Leonie saw her father's truck in the garage, parked right where he had left it months ago. The Gilberts bought it from a farm auction before the flood changed everything, as a project car. It ran well enough when they had cattle to feed. "Cassie, did you even bring clothes to sleep in?" Miss Gilbert asked with a strong hint of annoyance in her voice. "I don't sleep, I trance," she said. Miss Gilbert parked outside of the house in front of the garage. She stopped the engine, which spluttered to a grinding stop. "Girls, what's going on here?" Miss Gilbert said. "'Cause this isn't a sleepover. It's a future episode of Nightline. I don't want Ted Koppel to interview me. Do I need to take Cassie home?" Leonie wondered why her mother was acting so strangely. She didn't care what she did normally. Not that she ever brought friends over, especially with the house still a mess from the water damage. "We told you we're friends now and we want to study together," Leonie said. "Stop looking at me," Cassie said, grumbling. The girls heard a loud click from the passenger side panel. Leonie tried to exit the vehicle, but the doors didn't open. "You both don't think I didn't pull shady things when I was your age?" Miss Gilbert said. "What are you two doing? And how illegal are we talking? I have plans tonight and I cannot cancel." "Wait, you did shady stuff too as a kid, Mom? Like what?" Leonie asked. "Don't change the subject," Miss Gilbert said, looking down and away. "No, you opened that door. Don't back out now. Mom, are you going to tell me that you stole cars or something?" "You both are lame," Cassie said, "and this is kidnapping, Miss Gilbert." "Someone took the class cow," Leonie said. "It's a whodunit slumber party." Miss Gilbert gave the steering wheel a sharp tap. She bit her lip. "People who steal cattle drive straight to selling them. If they don't butcher them first and sell them on the side of the road. You're not going to find the cow. Even if you did, I bet that's not something you want to mess with. You should find a way to pass that class instead." "I am," Leonie said. "Why else would I have Cassie here? I'd rather hang out with Charles Manson." "He'd like that," her mother said, rolling her eyes. "Why are you lying about being friends? What do you know?" "I have rights, Miss Gilbert," Cassie complained. Leonie drew back. "You're acting weird, Mom." Miss Gilbert pressed a button on the driver's side console. The child lock button clicked. "Stay in the house. I'm out until 8, she said. "Get inside. Move. I have places to be, baby girl." They did, as she asked, and exited the vehicle. Miss Gilbert left them standing in the garage and drove off. "Your farm sucks," Cassie said. "Like your face. Get your dad's keys. We gotta get the Weston's family's place." Across the tracks, 7:45 p.m. Leonie deliberately brake-checked the truck again for laughs and giggles. She smiled at the sight of Cassie desperately grabbing on the overhead handles. The white truck didn't need to stop, but sliding on the dirt road was too much fun to pass up. Cassie sat wide-eyed, not looking at how obstructive the windshield was from all the backcountry dirt. They had passed the tracks and were on the other side of the rolling hills. The dull headlight lit up the entire distance of the barren land in the night. The yellow light illuminated the red clay and sand as far as the eye could see. This was part of why Leonie did not mind not being able to see out the windshield. The memory of what the town used to look like hurt too much when she saw it for what it really was. "If you brake one more time," Cassie said, "I'm going to tie you up, leave you in the back, and drive it myself." Leonie pointed. A large cart sat on the side of the road, wooden, with the metal roof fastened to the top. It once might have sold fruit, but its shelves sat covered. Two figures stepped out from behind the cart and began walking onto the road. One was a short kid who wore a starter cap sideways, like he thought he was Tupac. The other boy was taller, with a buzz cut. He wore a red shirt that said, "Tell me about the rabbits." Leonie slowed down and came to a smooth stop. Cassie smacked the back of her seat. "You were pretending to suck at driving to freak me out this entire time?" she shouted, shaking her fist. "Hush. It's Weston and Boone," Leonie said. "What are they doing on the road?" Weston, the runt of the litter-looking kid, walked onto the driver's side and knocked. Leonie rolled down the window. "Dude, look who got lost. A future serial killer and a burnout waiting to happen," Weston laughed. Cassie rolled down the window and made a rude gesture towards Boone. "How about these rabbits?" she said. "We're here for information, nerds. Someone took the class cow. We saw them heading this way." Boone, the tall boy, spoke. "Nope, we're dumb country boys. Products are environment, bro." The boy crossed to the passenger side, giving the cheerleader the stink eye. "Stop the vaudeville act, dude bros," Leonie said. "Who might be desperate enough to steal a cow?" "You know who's desperate, bro?" Boone said. "Leonie's mom." Weston burst out in laughter. Leonie exited the truck, shoving Weston out of the way. She marched to the boy, who backed away as soon as she saw Cassie get out to join her. The small boy ran to the fruit stand and started covering the already covered shelves with an old, faded bedsheet. Boone backed away. "I was joking," Boone said. "I'm not," Leonie threatened. She picked up a handful of clay from the side of the road and flung it at him, smacking him in the chest. "I ask questions, you answer. Who took Mooberly today at 4:35 out in the ag building?" Weston wedged himself in front of Leonie and Boone. Cassie clenched her fist. Weston poked Leonie in the arm. "What we know is our business. Better back up before something bad happens." Leonie kicked the boy's ankle with a sweeping blow. He let out a cry as he struck the side of the cart. The impact sent a box flying, ejecting a large antenna that crashed to the ground. Weston yelled over and over, "My wrist! Oh no! I've got the race! My wrist!" Boone lifted Weston up to his feet. "Touch me and bad things happen." Cassie dragged Leonie back to the truck. "We can't find the cow like this," Cassie said. She threw Leonie into the passenger seat and shut the door. "Oh, you're in for it now. We ain't letting this one go." Leonie leaned out at the window, spotting an old-time microphone hanging out of the shelves on the cart. It must have become dislodged in the fight. Leonie thought she recognized it from photos she had seen of people creating radio shows. What would Weston and Boone be doing with something like that? "Nah, we'll be back for you," Leonie said to them. "Next time, you'd better start talking about how you can afford a starter cap while the rest of the town is searching in dumpsters for pizza slices." Cassie drove off.
And I knew you knew like that. And I knew you knew like that. And I knew you knew like that. And I knew you knew.
Backroads, 8:10 p.m. They had driven to the top of the hill at Leonie's insistence. There, Cassie rested on a lone stump. She kept shaking her head. Leonie rolled her eyes. She sat in the driver's seat, fiddling with the radio, switching channels. "If you keep beating everyone, no one will help," Cassie said. You need to get it together. We're not the LAPD. You hurt a real person, even if he is a dude bro. No one is gonna say anything unless, Leonie started to say. Let me do the talking, Cassie said, or else we'll never find the thief. At least I can keep you from picking a fight with everyone you come across. Those two are never gonna help us, and you know who their family is. Leonie turned a knob until a radio's sharp static became the sound of a familiar voice. Again, listeners, we are asking for help. Some punks looking for trouble have injured a very key writer in tonight's events. To help, meet us in the valley beyond the tracks. Inquire about Police Academy. Until then, let's mellow out some soft tunes. Sponsored by Sedelia's Glass Repair. You break it, we get paid. The station cut the soft piano music. That's Boone. Cassie drew closer, eyeing the dashboard as if it were a demon. Sounds like a real broadcast. Do they have a license or whatever for that? What event do they mean? Leonie said. Nothing ever goes on in this town except for chicken fried steak day at Neosho's diner. Weston is not going to talk to you, not after what you did. We'll see, Leonie said. I have a plan. Let's go ask about Police Academy. I bet we find a white truck there somewhere. Mooberly is close. Everyone drives a white truck, Cassie crossed the passenger seat. Not everyone, Leonie said. I have a feeling. Y'all keep talking and y'all keep scrapping, but y'all better stop. Put your money where your cow is. You hurry, put your money where your cow is. Field, 8:50 p.m. A half hour later, Leonie screamed into the palm of her hands. In front of them were 25 white pickup trucks, all about the same make and model. Cassie, smirking, gestured in the direction where people gathered around makeshift stalls. Everyone's donated light-up shoes made the ground look like a disco dance floor. Next to the vendors was a long line of cones, as if set out for a drag race. Loud generators powered stadium-like lights, creating a festive atmosphere. Leonie didn't recognize anyone in the crowd at first. Folks seemingly had traveled there from around the state. More people than Leonie had even seen in town. Told you so, Cassie sneered. We've got nothing. But you wish you were nicer to the dude bros now, huh? Leonie refused to answer. The two stopped cold in their tracks, hearing something nearby. They heard a multitude of moos. Not one cow, or two cows, but a chorus of angry sounds. From the stalls and the bonfire, they heard things like, "Get your corn dogs and place your bets here." To this last cry, a man yelled, "500 on Police Academy." He handed over his money to a lady sitting at a desk with a banged-up money box. Half his shirt was untucked and his suit pants crinkled. People around him murmured. "I have faith, I do," he said. "Hey," Leonie pointed to the man. "That's Pastor Branson. Is he betting? On what? Why are there so many cows here? What the flip is this, Cassie? This is an underground cow wrestling ring." The girl in the cheer uniform shrugged her shoulders at hearing this. Her face scrunched. "That's where your mind went to? I don't have a word for you," she said. They turned at the sound of the gates creaking. 6 cows thundered out and stormed across the distance of the long racetrack, waving in and out of the cones and into the spectators who laughed and cheered. When the cows had run the full way, the handlers gathered them back into the pens. "They're not wrestling cows," Cassie said. "They're racing them." "Well, cow wrestling is cooler. Hey, Pastor!" Leonie shouted. The man froze, with the corn dog still in his mouth. He took a large bite, leaving only the stick. They met around the fire, surrounded by people selling everything from cow pins to VHS movies, to fried hot dogs and a real deep fryer. The smell of onions and mustard was strong. You have some nerve showing up here after hurting my rider. Pastor Branson tossed the stick into the bonfire. Weston's wrist is so sprained he can't even hold on to the reins. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Wait, people ride cows. That's what this is. This is literally a cow race? Cassie came to stand next to her, with a corn dog with ketchup in one hand and a plate of funnel cakes in the other. Yes, keep up, please, Cassie said. Yes, the preacher nodded. So bad that Weston's family might get their land taken by the bank if he doesn't win this race, the preacher said. He lowered his voice so only they could hear. And now he can't do it, and we can't find no one. I spent good money on this racer, and I have my reservations about the cow that was sold to me already, and now you have flushed all my chances down the drain. Where did you get the cow? Leonie asked, because it would be ashamed if you stole it. The preacher spit away from the girls in total disgust. I am not a bank. I do not steal, he said. What are you doing accusing a preacher of stealing for? Cassie asked. That's not going to do anything but make him mad. All I'm asking is where the racing cow came from. That shouldn't be a big deal, Leonie said to Cassie. I've owned Police Academy for months. Best racing cow there is. The preacher put his hands in his pocket and looked down. He noticed his shirt and tucked it in nervously. That racer has done a lot of good things with our cut in the Woodins. Weston is looking to get his own cattle racer soon, so I suppose it was only a matter of time. Leonie walked towards the mooing in the pens. She paced, wrapping her hands around her back and thought. Do you know anyone who was sniffing around for a racer? Someone with a white truck who was in town around 4 o'clock. A sour look overtook the preacher's face. Maybe. But after you sabotaged me, why would I help you? Leonie stepped back towards him and Cassie. She motioned with her head towards the cow pens. Cassie nudged her. She took Leonie aside with a stern look. What are you gonna do? Kick the preacher's butt? This isn't gonna work. Leonie kicked at the dirt, sending sand into the roaring fires in front of them. You need a rider? Leonie said to Branson. I'm your huckleberry. Cassie covered her face with her hand. I'm so embarrassed to have to be around you. Then leave, Leonie said. No, Cassie crossed her arms. As the girls argued, the preacher looked out at the people around him. He seemed to be searching. She's a rancher's daughter, Cassie said, staring at Leonie. She can figure out how to do it, and it's better than not having anyone. Hardly, the preacher said. Fine, go to the pen and atone for your sin. Go make the church some money. Racetrack, 9 o'clock p.m. Next thing Leonie knew, she sat on the saddle of a cow, one of 6 in the makeshift corral. Mooberly was not among them. People gathered around the distance of the track with food and beverages, as if it were a town picnic. Her legs were not used to riding, and she had not even had horses on the ranch in forever. She leaned forward and tapped on the reins. The cow did nothing. How could she steer such a stubborn cow all the way down a racetrack? She had the feeling that she had bitten off more than she could chew. The voice of Boone rang across the outdoor PA system. Riders, get your racers ready. It's time. She could feel the beast shift underneath her, like she knew what to do. How many times had this creature done this? Cows are not known for being good learners, of course, but the cow seemed to know their routine. Good luck, baby girl, she heard a woman rider nearby shout. I'd say you're grounded, but I've got nothing to say about that. Leonie could not find the words to express her shock at who she saw on the cow next to her. Mom, she cried. Her mom, wearing a matching outfit and yellow sunglasses, looked as if she planned to hitchhike through California. I didn't want this life for you. But cow racing? It has a way of seeking us. Don't tell your father, her mother said. Voices in the crowd grew louder with excitement. "Mom, no, this is embarrassing," Leonie exclaimed from the top of her lungs. "Go!" the voice cried over the PA. The gate swung open. Leonie's cow tried to run past her mother's racer, but the calf bulldozed its way ahead. "See you at the finish line, baby girl." Her cow began to buck. It broke into a brisk gallop past a brown cow, who had stopped to eat a kid's bucket of french fries. Another racer spun his rider in circles. The crowd began a chant of "Moo!" Her mom's cow wandered in the first place. "Come on, Police Academy." Leonie leaned forward in her saddle and kicked her heels into the creature. It dashed forward at a slow but amusing speed past 3 racers. Boone, with a sense of excitement, called the race from the PA. "Nicagon has been passed by Police Academy, which is now coming alongside Jaws 3D. Police Academy is neck and neck with Rocky. This is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Police Academy has come from behind to... Yes, Rocky has veered into the other side of the track. Police Academy is riding alongside Schumacher Batman. Hold my Cornhuskers. This is gonna be close. Police Academy is close to beating the legendary K.C. Gilbert." Leonie's cow stretched forward as it tried to gain speed. The creature would not stay in a straight line, causing Schumacher Batman to gain speed ahead. Leonie could see the finish line in front of her. "It's going to be a photo finish," Boone cried from the speaker system. Leonie could see her mother's determined face for only a moment before she leaned into her cow, trying to push her mom off track. The riders cried out, trying to get their creature to move forward. The cows slowly walked across the finish line. "Schumacher wins," a distressed Boone called out. Moments after the race, when prize money had been collected, people gathered their things. Some kid picked up the cones along the track, and vendors tossed their wares in the back of their white pickup trucks. Leonie and Cassie ran to meet Branson, who had packed church flyers in his vehicle. "It's not right, preacher. I tried to help. I almost won. How was I supposed to know I'd be racing my mom?" "Why aren't you trying to help us find the cow?" "You should be thankful," the preacher said, placing the last box in the back. "Second place is the best race that block of concrete of a cow has had. And if you want to know the truth, everyone in town wants a racer. But folks like Weston and Boone and them rat from the school sell each other a lot of snake oil around here, if you know what I mean. You should ask your coach about that." The preacher started the engine and waved the girls off. "I'm headed home. Good night, girls." The preacher drove his truck into the line of vehicles leaving the secret track. Leonie stood, watching the taillights fade in the distance. "I'm going to ride with my parents," Cassie said, joining her as one of the few people left in the field. It looked like no race had even taken place, like a strange dream. "I found them at the cake stand," Cassie continued. "I'm grounded, but I think I can even the playing field. Since they voted against the riverboat gambling bill, but they were placing bets at Naked Gun. Tomorrow, we are doing things my way. You better agree with me. Soon you're going to be out of people to hurt." "Fine," Leonie said. "I'll see what I can do to get us more time tomorrow away from school. After I yell at my mom for being an underground racer, we should stop by Sundown Baptist Church and press Branson. He got sour like he's chewing on a warhead piece of candy." Cassie shook her head and walked away to her waiting parents in their white pickup truck. "No," she said. "Tomorrow, we check out the gas station. While you were out there losing, I had a chat with my friend Fayette. She graduated a few years ago, works at the gas station. Weston and Boone gave her the shakedown a few nights ago, looking for cattle to buy. She'll know who stopped in to fill their tank." Leonie followed after her. "Pastor Branson is living a double life, and Weston is dressing well for someone whose family is about to lose land. And you want to go to the gas station?" Cassie waved as her parents uncrossed their arms and motioned for her to hurry up. "We're doing things my way," Cassie reminded her. Leonie was left standing alone in the empty field. When her eyes adjusted to the lack of light, she could see the stars above her come out. She traced the Big Dipper to the North Star and watched it twinkle for a while. Her mom was a cow racer. For a long time, she thought about how lame life had become.